Oh boy. Okay, so in a little bit more thought and I'm convinced, no, there's no way it's a war game. It doesn't focus enough on the military aspect. Okay. Anyway. On to the next turn, we're drawing cards. Hochstadt. Decisive Bourbon victory. Recruit 2 Bourbon troops. And that'll be coming from the recruit section. I'm not sure whether anything ever gets pulled out of the dead here. It'll kill some allied units. That could be an important card for someone to take. It might be worth it for the English to take it. They have a good deal of points built up. Simply because being able to control where that death happens is important. Negotiations of the Hague. Okay. Well, we're going into the mid-zone now here. Eliminate one of your goal cards from the game and draw another goal card randomly. That's a neat option. Whoever picks this sucker up. Now this is a treaty you have to pay to trigger, though, the event. The treaty, I think, happens no matter what. But the event value of that treaty, let's see. The deck should have been reshuffled. I'm going to reshuffle it at this point. The event portion of the treaty is a different part from the other portion. So I'm going to take a break away and shuffle the deck at this point, and we might see some of the same cards come back. And of course the tiny print on here, you know, that's a good indication, and the ease that I had of missing it, that's a good indication of why they couldn't put more historical information on these cards. There's enough information on them in terms of the play. Anyway, we draw. Hanoverian Succession. This can only be played by the English and the Dutch. And it is a concession card just baked into here. So either of them can get a victory point for a will. Hungarian Uprising, Francis Rákóczi. Austria loses some troops. This is an event. Somebody would have to pay to use it. Austria might want to try to claim this. It's not that far down in the list. There's a good, or they're fairly far down in the list, but they may be able to grab it without hurting themselves. And then the card is removed from the game. If it's used. But by putting off the uprising, we might be able, you know, to gain some advantage, not losing our troops. And another concession, the renunciation of the Dukes of Berry and Orleans. This can be played by who? Austria, Portugal, and Savoy, and it's worth a victory point. Well, Hochstadt does not look as valuable as being able to exchange a goal. Yeah, but I'm not too unhappy with my goals. I might be able to get these. I mean, Gibraltar's already gone. That's the one. Now, I could cut a deal with the Portuguese conceivably to try to get Gibraltar. But I'm not sure I'm terribly interested in triggering this. And by the way, yeah, we used the event on the other one, so it triggered fully. The victory point for this looks worthwhile. I think we're going to take a dump in time to grab that victory point. That puts it on the Dutch, who are kind of cursing not having that. How do they feel about their victory point cards? Breisgau. See, I've already committed myself, though, to getting to Breisgau, so it's a little late to throw that one out. Minorca probably isn't too hard for me to get at least some victory points from, even if I can't get the concession. The other one, maybe I want a different card. It would help if I looked at what my options were for the other cards, but I'm assuming that we're going to see something in Flanders, which is what we particularly want. So I'm going to jump over to here. That puts it to the Austrians. Do they want to prevent this event? Well, look, how much do people want to hit Austria at this point in the game? That's a big question. It might be worthwhile for Savoy to aim at Austria. I think Austria will go for the points in preventing themselves from getting hurt, but we're seeing a shake-up in the ordering here, and Green gets the opportunity to either grab a victory point and go last, or to create a decisive Bourbon victory where I could say chase the English out of Gibraltar. That might be kind of neat for me, especially since I'm over there. Yeah, I'm going to take Hochstadt and let Savoy have the victory points. Can I convince Savoy to give me a buck or something for that? Yeah, Savoy will give me a buck for that. That gives me a little bit of strength. I can't exchange national will, obviously. Okay. So, let's start her off, and we're going to take this sucker. Recruit 2 Bourbon troops. That comes out of here. That's going to trigger the mid-deck. It's already triggered, but... and I get to choose where to recruit them. Who am I worried about? Who seems to be doing well? I'm not thrilled with the Austrians in Tuscany. Not terribly thrilled. I think that seems like a good choice. We'll throw them both there. Okay. Kill 2 allied units. Bye! They had to be adjacent to the Bourbon. And then the card's gone. Okay. The negotiations at the Hague. Do I want $4 to get rid of a goal card? Yeah. This is a lot to get rid of here. But I'm going to get rid of this. And this is going to cause a reshuffle, which we are already going to get. And at this point, I have to beg away so that I can dig out the cards, because I have them sorted by nation here. I didn't realize that there was a chance that you could end up with different goal cards. It didn't go well for me. I got Hudson Bay, which has already been allocated, and I don't know this, but I know they grabbed it pretty early. Oh well. Hanoverian succession. We spend a national will, because that's what you spend on victory point cards, and grab another victory point. And we're a little ahead of everybody else with the Brits. There might be a good target here. Okay, the Rakosi. That is worth 2, and we don't want to trigger this. And nobody has taken any actions. So I've got pretty much whatever I like free to me. Now there's not a lot of room for maneuver here. I need to clear my way to Tuscany. So I'm going to do attacks. Oops. I'm allowed to. The only thing I'm not allowed to do is the move. And these cost $1 each. No, $2 each, because I'm down in the brown. Shit. Okay, well, there's 4. Cremona's not really worth anything to me. I'm not sure I really want to destroy this because it allows Savoy to streak down. So I'm going to leave them there. Anywhere else I want to spend? Spend in Strasbourg. I don't know. And hope we get points from a card. Well, worst comes to worst, we can go negative. You know, as long as we don't stay down there. Fair enough. And our last is purple, who's going to spend one of their national will and get themselves their first victory point with a concession. Okay. Now we go band actions. It goes here. Reinforcements. It's only 6 now. 1, 2, 3. Still, I can't do this. I can't jump 2 levels. I'm just fudging for an error I made early on that I think should have triggered that, although the rules are kind of unclear about that in my view still. So we're going to see 2 here and 1 for each of these. And green gets to place first. Green's not terribly happy about the English, but they don't feel like there's too many places where the English are problematic. However, Liège is one of the few places that they can gain force. The Dutch definitely don't want to place anything in Liège. That's the problem with killing things, they just come back. The English say, wow, we're kind of screwed, we're not terribly interested in Gibraltar. There you go, for being a dick. The Austrians also, they'll upgrade in Liège. Savoy, kind of pissed at the Austrians, but I don't want to do anything to fortify that area. And again, the English scare us. When we get back to the Portuguese, no place down here. And the French are back into power. Okay. And now, what are we doing? We deal out the second set of concessions at this point for the new treaty. And they're going to be picked in this order, and then that affects the new turn order. Okay, let's see what we come up with. Mantua, with an extra $4 on it. Big on national will, though, and you can see some people are close to falling out of war. They're going to have to boost their national will. When they fall out of war, they can no longer do warfare actions, and they can't play allied victories, which really restricts your capabilities. So you want to stay in the war. Flanders. While you have this concession, you can play the barrier treaty. My guess is that there's going to be a treaty card that you can't even activate without this. Brazil. Increase or decrease by 2 levels the will to fight of 1 player. Wow. That's a potent. That's a way to get somebody out of the war real quick who's in the lead, or to keep yourself in it. So that's intriguing. Kingdom of Naples. And you get some bonus troops. And free commerce with the Spanish Indies. This is Tratato, not Asiento. Each resource action will get you 3 extra bucks. That's kind of cool. Okay, so they're all worth something, but they come at a cost proportionate to what they are. Green's got the first call. And Sardinia, Naples, and Hudson Bay. Well, Naples is out there. We're in. It's that simple. Orange, Menorca, Brascal, and Hudson Bay. None of them up there. We're going to go with Flanders. All right. I'm assuming it's the most valuable of them. I don't know. It's a hard call because the Mantua concession. Let's just go for Mantua. Okay, on to red. Now somebody could have bribed me away here. Brazil. Yeah, we want our victory point spread there. And we can help keep ourselves in the war. Which is probably our best move. Because we'll be collecting up what looks like a pretty potent number of points. Although it's hard to tell because we don't know other people's secret amounts. Some people do though, and some people have looked at the British. The Dutch have looked at the British and are going to know, and are going to be starting to say things like, I looked at them, they're doing well. And Britain's like, yeah, you'd say that anyway? Okay, on to the Austrians. I would like Flanders. Flanders. Okay, and that leaves these here. And now we got to pay for them. Orange owes 3 for Mantua. And they immediately get $4, which is helpful. No question. White takes Flanders. And that's going to cost them 3. They're down into the $3 per thing they do. It makes it very hard to do anything in the war. And if you're familiar with this War of Spanish Succession, it did kind of grind on and on, where people couldn't do much of anything. Early on, there were some big actions. The Blenheim, etc. The other one we had already. Ramillies. And then this long stage of siege warfare, really. Okay. Red wants Brazil. That cost me 3, but I'll take 2 back. And I gotta worry, this becomes key goal. Like, people who are, just about everybody's kind of interested in boosting their national will, if for no other reason, they take up the space for it, so the people down here who are probably going to get hit with a concession again are going to get knocked out of the war. Okay. Of course, the war may not go as well without as many people able to play warlike actions, right? Green, Kingdom of Naples. That's going to cost him 3. And he gets 2 immediate troops. Too bad he doesn't. But that was in his victory conditions, therefore. And purple, free commerce. 1, 2, 3. Down to the bad area. And each time he does a resource, he gets 3 extra bucks, which we'll see if I can remember that. Okay, now the next thing that happens is we take this deck and this deck, and this should have happened earlier, and they're going to get shuffled together to form the new deck for the next turn. And you can see you won't get most of the cards. We had a decent amount left before the last reshuffle. There's a good amount of stuff that's just not going to come into play. All this stuff is historical, but how big an effect it has on the overall situation is something that, you know, you have to kind of decide. Actually, I'm not sure all of it is historical. Yeah, renunciation of Barry and Orleans. I don't know if that actually happened. Anyway, there may be some that are things that were like that seemed like they were going to happen and would have a clear effect, but didn't actually happen and could be offered in. Most of them, though, I'm seeing did have some effect or another. All right, and there goes my battery again. The delay in getting to the late game is seeming to affect shit. Sorry, I've got to take care of that because I'm almost dead. It's having an effect, I think, on this. I think these get removed in the late game cards. They're not spread out too much. We haven't seen any, at least. So we may actually make it to where the Bourbons fall apart, just because this doesn't fall first. All right. Yeah, it's been a while, even with a Euro type thing, that I've really wanted to come back and keep playing, and I just keep wandering back in. I don't know. I just don't want to take as big a break as I usually do. So let's see what this turn brings us. Revolt of the Camisards. Eliminate 2 French troops not adjacent by land to Allied troops. If none exist, eliminate them from the reserve. Now this is the kind of card that should have triggered, I guess, the first event, the first set of concessions. Not concessions, but the first deck draw, rather than concessions, I guess. I'm really not sure. But not having that effect in play, not having the concessions come out right away from that, has caused problems. However they mean to deal with it, I'm trying to deal as best as I can. Charles III besieges Barcelona. Eliminate Bourbon troops from Barcelona. There aren't many. Recruit or move 2 of your troops and recruit a troop of the Crown of Aragon. That's interesting for anyone who wants the big points in Barcelona. Shit, there goes my battery again. Yep. Marquis de Torcy. There it goes again. I won't be able to play if I can't get this to charge while I'm holding it. Marquis de Torcy. Choose one of your concessions and one from another player and exchange them, unless the other player decreases his will to fight by 3. The countries not at war cannot play this card and cannot be the target of the card, because they've already settled their concessions. Their peace events have taken place. Marshal Villars. Choose one of your concessions and exchange it with a concession randomly drawn from another player. And again, can't be done with people at war. So now, here's the thing. This is the more powerful card, but it has the lower cost and the lower potential gain. So that's kind of interesting. And it also has a better positional thing. So obviously people are going to go for that. Death to the Bourbon King. Recruit a troop from Aragon and eliminate a Bourbon troop from the Crown of Castile or from the Crown of Aragon. Increased by 1 level the will to fight of 1 player with troops in Castile or Aragon, if there are such. So Orange has the first play here, and there are some interesting things. Bresgau is good for me. Mantua, I'm not so interested in Mantua, to tell you the truth. I would like the Hudson Bay, which I can take from England. Boom. Sounds good to me. Now, the difference here is this one has the possibility of a player avoiding it. If there were a couple of things I wanted over there, I could try to take it, but I could end up with a damn Hanoverian succession, which I really don't want. So if Britain wants to knock themselves out of the war entirely, feel free. They can be my guest. All right, on to white. White, Tuscany and Flanders. Well, both of them are kind of nice for me. Of course, I'm already in Bresgau. That doesn't help. Tuscany doesn't really help me. Flanders helps me. Tuscany doesn't. I would like Mantua. I'm going to play with a shift for that. Now that's going to get me into the negative zone. But I'm not making any ground against the French, so I might as well fight with the Dutch politically instead. This game is weird, but I like it. Okay, what about the English? The English see which way the wind's blowing, I think. They would like points. All the points are about the same. Camisards. This is interesting. This could get me back in here. I don't have any terrible interest in any of that, but this is a valuable space. Recruit or move 2 of your troops and recruit 1 troop from the Crown of Aragon. Yeah, that sounds good. It's got a cost, of course, but that's okay. That puts us to the Greenies, the Portuguese. Naples, Sardinia, Hudson Bay. So this gets me a first shot and could be useful to me eliminating some stuff that's near me that I haven't been dealing with. The death of the Bourbon king is recruit a troop of the Crown of Aragon and eliminate a Bourbon troop from the Crown of Castile or from the Crown of Aragon. And then help somebody who's already in there, who will probably be the English. Well, I don't have to trigger the event if I take that. But if I ain't triggering the event, I'm going up here because that one might be more useful. And poor purple stuck at the bottom of the track still. Okay. I hope I'm doing this correctly. Of course, it doesn't really matter. If the order was the other way, you could just say I laid the cards down in the wrong order each time. So there's no biggie there. All right, green. Revolt of the Camisards. Eliminate 2 French troops not adjacent to Allied troops. So I don't have any real capacity to take anything right now. So I'm going to actually trigger this. I'm going to find room for my discard pile, and I'm going to take these out. That should work. Red. I want to trigger this. This one's going to get removed from the game, but I eliminate Bourbon troops from Barcelona, and we're in trouble here. If this marker had made it down, if we were in the 3rd deck, we're getting close to that 20 points. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay. And recruit or move 2 of your troops and a Crown of Aragon into Barcelona. And I'll take the free recruit. And I'm now in there. Now we're in the middle deck right now, which means we can start moving around in the Mediterranean, which I haven't been doing, but that's okay. Orange. De Torsi. Well, we want to do this. Hey, England, give us the Hudson Bay in exchange for something we don't care about, Mantua, or fall out of the war. I'm in this wonderful position to start taking advantage of some of this stuff. The Hudson Bay is worth 3 points to us because of our card. But I think, oh, the Dutch have to pay. I think we're going to accept the exchange because getting knocked out of the war sucks too much. White says for Villars. I want to exchange at random. And I want to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I don't. Why did I take this? It's worth a lot of points. Maybe. Oops. Give me 4 points. I guess I kept anyone else from giving it. Was there something I wanted more than Tuscany? I've got Flanders. I like Flanders. You know, if I was getting rid of my goal, that would be fine. And I'm fine on Tuscany. Tuscany's the iffy one. Is there something I have? Ah, there was Bresgau. I think I'll just take the points. So I've grabbed my 4 points, and I'm feeling like I probably should have taken an earlier thing. I want to up my will, I think. Which only costs me 5. Now, how many levels can I do it? I can do it until I'm at -10. The problem is we're getting close to the end of the game. Wrong player. Sends me up 1. 5 more for another one. Count on getting another good card. This is here. No, we don't want to drop into negative. We're too close to the end of the game. And that puts it on purple. This should be, I don't know where. It can sit there. That's as good as anyone. Death to the Bourbon King for purple. Recruit a troop of the Crown of Aragon and eliminate a Bourbon troop from Castile. This doesn't sound terribly useful to me, so I think I'll just take $2. And an action. I would love to take the will to fight, but I can't. Attacks cost me way too much. What are my goals? Naples, Tuscany, Flanders. Movement doesn't cost much. It's still fairly cheap. Unfortunately, I'm not in a port. 1, 2, 3. We grab Naples. What else we want? We went Tuscany, but that's far away. Flanders is really far away. Although we could actually get up there. Does Dunkirk count? No. It's part of France. Okay, for Naples, we need Cassano as well. That's not a port, so we can't just land there. I think these are considered adjacent. Well, let's keep moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll do. That's good enough. And we finish that up. We go to banned actions, which means white gets their chip back. These push over. There are no reinforcements triggered for this turn. And there are no concessions to be handed out for this turn. Which means we bump into yet another turn, and we still haven't gotten anywhere with these. Interesting. This is a renunciation of a couple of the Spanish king's brothers from being able to take the throne of Spain. And that did indeed happen. Okay. Okay, I gotta screw with the camera a little bit because it's busted. And let's start turning these. Siege of Zativa. A Bourbon victory. All players with troops in the Crown of Castile or Aragon decrease 2 levels their will to fight. Ooh, and this happens no matter what. There's no way, say, Britain could try to bribe people to avoid this. It's going to decrease the ramparts, which don't look like they're going to go anytime soon. It's going to cause losses. They could conceivably cause those losses not to be British losses, and then it'll be out of the game. That is an interesting card because it's worthless to the player who gets it pretty much. It's 0 points. They can take an action, of course. But it's first place on the next card, which, you know, probably will shake up the playing order a little bit because it won't be an optimal choice. Negotiations in the Hague. And that's going to bump us enough reinforcements. The French aren't going to fall this turn, probably. Eliminate one of your gold cards from the game and draw another gold card immediately. We have this one already, but it can come back. And that only happens if you use the points to trigger that. If you don't like your gold card, you're now forced into that. Almansa, oh, it's getting ugly. A decisive Bourbon victory. 2 French troops from those eliminated. And it's going to crack the barricades and kill a couple more units. And this one's, of course, even less valuable because it's positioning. Oh, Brejega, another decisive victory. If any player has the card Prince of Darmstadt, they must give it up. Otherwise, we're going to see the French moving about a little bit and some destruction. And Ramillies. We had this show up before, but nobody used it for that. This is an Allied victory. It creates Allied troops in addition to killing a couple of French units. And everybody's still in the war. Okay, well, our first choice is green, the Portuguese. And they're saying, you know, 4 points is pretty nice, as is... The only real challenge is Ramillies, as is the ability to get rid of a goal. Let's see, we're probably not going to get Hudson Bay. Sardinia, Naples, we probably can't get either. Somebody has Naples, don't they? No, they moved into Naples, so there's going to be competition for it. But we can at least project ourselves there. We're not going to get Hudson Bay. I'm going to say Greenie's going there, the 4 points. If we really need points, that's the best card for it. And if we want the action, the other one is. What about red? Lots of bad battles we really don't want to see. And then Ramillies. That's our only real choice. Recruit an allied. Well, this one's a little better than these guys, but not by much. Probably not worth taking the hit in location. Recruit an allied troop adjacent to a space where a Bourbon troop has been eliminated. I'm not seeing too much advantage for me here. Back when I was here, we would have liked this, but here I killed 2. There's really nothing I could attack with that. So, we're jumping up. Grab first place. Orange. Do I want points? Do I need points? I'm kind of low. On the other hand, would I want to trigger this? Because I could blast my way into this location with Ramillies. That sounds appealing, to tell you the truth. Although I don't really want to be there. I want to get down to Breslau. See, this is only worth a victory point. And I could take income instead of the $2 for Ramillies and position myself somewhere better. I think I'm going to do that. White. Well, White's got the choice between a couple of points. The Ramillies attack could get them into here, which is something they're having trouble doing. And they'll order us this way. Okay, so red gets the siege here. Remember, these aren't going to be next turn, but they're perhaps more important than the concession gains. All players with troops in the Crown of Castile or in the Crown of Aragon lose 2 off their will to fight. We need to fix that. The battle, one of these goes away. I don't know where to put them. There's generally places everywhere on the board. I'll just put it up here for now. Probably goes in the box, but now because they can come back. Okay. And there's going to be a loss. That loss has to be next to, this card is leaving the game, next to a French, a Bourbon unit. It doesn't have to be something that I care about, though. Who do I feel is doing well? I feel like it looks like the best people are still the Austrians. I would like to knock them out. We're going to knock them out of Mol. No, we don't want to open that up to Savoy. We're going to knock them out of Mantua. Unless they have something good to offer us. Yeah, no, they don't. I mean, they would love to, but I don't see the offer happening. Now I can take an action, and I'm allowed to buy my will back up. My will is going to cost me 4 for the first bump, 4 for the second bump, 5 for the third bump, down to 0. I don't think the game's over anytime soon. We'll pay another 5. I could lose us the game if it ends up over soon, though. Okay. Onto green. Is this useful to me? Do I want to get rid of a Gaul card? Yes. Green pays 4. Trigger this. This is going to be a shuffle, and I'll be back after I get rid of Hudson Bay because I'm not counting on being able to use that. Yeah, everything's screwed up now. The zoom and the battery both at once here, and I gotta fix them. But we got the Minorca, which means we have a kind of all Mediterranean strategy that we can concentrate on. And if we can get Gibraltar, we could start launching stuff in that direction. But right now, Madrid with its 5 victory points, man, that's just too good not to take. We probably should already be there, but we had to trigger this to take the opportunity when we could. Now Madrid might fill up or something. We haven't gotten there yet. Oh well. Puts this to orange, Almansa, bad stuff happens. Now remember, purple really does not want this thing falling. I don't know what they can do to prevent it, but they want a victory there. Recruit 2 French troops from those eliminated. That automatically is going to happen. And then there's 2 deaths. Who just got this? Orange just got it. Where are the allied deaths going to be? Well, certainly clearing the Austrians completely out seems useful, although maybe more so to Savoy, although they could just walk into these places. As long as the French aren't there, it's okay. But also knocking the English off seems valuable. Sure. And we took that out. 2 French troops are recruited, and I've got the next deck in here because that's going to come in play from the eliminated. And that, where do we want them to show up? Well, that's where we make things hard. On Savoy. This was Orange doing this. That worked out pretty well for them. Someone did things. Son of a bitch. Red increased their will. Green did their trigger. Orange has an opportunity to do something. They can't increase their will. They're kind of low on cash, so taking resources for $5 might be worth it. They don't have any additional Bourbon spaces. You can see the lines don't move much. Again, that's not that unreasonable. This was almost like trench warfare, especially in this area here. And there was very little, everything was very heavily fortified. Wow. I'm going to have to get a new camera, I think. This is getting really bad. Alternatively, Orange could try to get down to Brasgau. Unfortunately for them, it's full. Now they could move Imperials out of there and move down. But I think they'll take cash. It's really tough, though, to figure out what you're going to do. You don't really have a whole lot of turns, it turns out. Okay. So he gets to move 2 French units. This is purple, out of his way. Yeah. Well, what's our way here? We want to get to Tuscany. We'll take these 2 and put them in Madrid. Yeah, we'll put 1 in each. Make things a little harder for the Portuguese there. And then we get to kill 2 units. Not next to anything here, but the Austrians are kind of our opposition here. Of course, we could push the hell out of the Dutch by knocking them out of Bergen. This may not matter much for Dutch victory points, but it now means that the French might be able to get up into there. I don't know. It seemed like a cool idea, and this comes out of the game. Almanza shouldn't be in the game either. And Denane is a late deck card which hasn't been activated yet. Great. Alright, and now I can take an action with the purple. There's not a whole hell of a lot I can do, but I can move. Moving's cheap, so even though I'm broke, there's 2. And another one. I should be defending with more troops, but I can't really afford to, and that's a bunch of victory points. Make people at least guess and work towards me. I can't move. Give me those points back. Right then. Well, I can't recruit. I don't terribly want to attack, but how are we doing? Are we winning? Because if we are, an attack might not be bad. The problem is I have no money. And an attack costs me 3 each. I don't have to do anything, and I will choose not to. I can't move because I moved last turn when I went down into Naples. Oh well. Seemed like a good thing. All right, on to the Ramillies card for white. Do they want to blast their way into something. They've been nuked out of everything. Oh. We get Strasbourg out of this. That wouldn't be too bad. Or Munich. Do we care about any of this shit? Flanders, Milan. We got knocked out of everything we want. Alright. And alternatively, we could take $2 or 2 points and try to boost things. But Ramillies is too valuable as a battle, I think, to not use. It just feels like it's too useful. So we'll kill a couple of Bavarians for that and do our free recruit here. And that gets rid of Ramillies. And where are we? Oh, jeez. They're gonna fall off if they're not careful. Okay. These come off the board. These slide down. And it's time for more negotiation. So we'll pull the peace events out. I didn't need to go away. I just needed to grab the cards. All right, so this is the last set of concessions because we're entering into the late stage of the war. Ooh, I forgot to take my reinforcements. Hold on. Not yet. Reinforcements are at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if we can take from there. See, here's the picture, but it's not quite there. I don't think we pull out of there unless instructed by a card. So I think all they're getting is 4. And red's worried about purple. Green's worried. I'm not that worried about white there. I can't just extend into here because that's not Bourbon territory as far as I know. Let's make sure. We have this. French troops can be recorded. Oh, you know what? I think I can't just be recruiting all over the board. The space must have a Bourbon troop or be adjacent to a Bourbon or allied troop, which means I've been misplaying the game completely. People should be running all over Spain and capturing it. Because those troops should be very, very difficult. I'm going to keep playing as I am. Obviously, see, the way this is listed, it doesn't strike me that way. You know, it's like, it's the last thing. You know, I pay attention to all the other stuff before I get down to that. So it looked like I could just recruit. What about allied recruitment? Does that have the same restriction? Not that that really matters, but allied recruitment is in a home space or in a space that contains your troops. So I don't know if this was meant this way or not. But the way it's worded, I've been cheating all game. The way I would read it to make it similar, yeah, I don't know. French troops, yeah. See, I read this as being an analog to the allied recruitment, which was that I'd be allowed to build into my own space, and given that situation, maybe I'd be able to drop in here because I can't advance by normal rules. I guess I have to continue with the rules that I've been playing under, because the game stops making sense if that's not the case. So where does orange want stuff? Orange will cover there. Savoy. Savoy. Yeah. But that's not legal by the rules as I see them as written. But that's what I've been playing, and I don't want to back up and, you know, try to change the rules in mid-game. Nothing seems to bring these suckers in. Oh, there's a card that destroys them from the game completely. Okay, where are we? That was the reinforcements. I think we can get rid of this. Doesn't do any good anymore. And now we extend these suckers. Some people have Sacramento here, so that will be of interest to them. Milan. Minorca. People interested in that. I don't think anybody's terribly interested in Sicily. It is 3 victory points, but you pay 3 national will for it. That could well be. Purple is probably not going to be. Well, they might be. They might be forced to bail out of the war at this point, the Savoyans. Okay. They're in pretty good shape given that. Now, we'll have to look up to see whether there's any other effects to that, because I think they can still be screwed over by the Bourbons. And of course, you know, if they can just boink and take things back, that's not going to work very well. Okay. Let's see. Reds first. Brazil, Hudson, and Colonia. Yeah. I'm sorry. We got to do it with these. Okay, green. Minorca, Naples, Sardinia. We're interested in a lot here. Okay, let's look at the advantages for these. Movement of troops, an immediate movement of troops cost. That might allow us to get some stuff into the Med. That would help us. Sardinia, we get to move some French around. Not as useful. Into there, this also gives us an earlier placement on the turn order. But we know we're not going to get Sardinia now, right? Orange. Damn you. Raise or decrease 1 level of will to fight sounds good to me. That makes the cost, that makes that a cheaper location. That puts it in Purple's hands. Purple can't afford Sicily because it's going to drop them out of the war. And then that puts White into Sicily. Purple doesn't really want Sicily anyway. Probably neither does White. Now we trigger them. Player of your choice loses $4. Who do we hit? I don't know. Orange just took money. So hitting them, they wouldn't be able to get money again. This looks potent. I'm going to hit purple. Milan. Increase or decrease their will. Oh, you know, I forgot to pay. They pay 3. 1, 2, 3. Milan just went to orange. Who pays 3? and then they're going to take a national will back, making their way back up. This is the last concession they have to buy. That's the main thing that eats up your will, but, you know, it means you're not going to be able to do shit. You're kind of hopeless right now. Minorca for green. Movement for a total cost of 4. There's 3. Hey, we're in. This is actually better. And the other point, push up to there. Kind of a bonus, but I forgot to pay my Minorca, only cost me 2. Poiple gets Sardinia. Cost them 2. And they get to move 2 French. I still think I should be able to put them in there. Get these out of here. Points available here that are easily available. And another one down here in Madrid. Did I pay? Yep. White pays 3. 1, 2, 3. The war's gonna be pretty stupid soon. This looks like I get 4 movements. Now, it's any Bourbon troops. That looks good to me. And again, I'm not playing by the rules. I seem to have screwed them up already. All right. So we're on to a new turn. We're out of reserves. If the French start dropping below that 20, the game's over, but there's this as well. And we shuffle in a big deck of stuff together. All the peace concessions have been handed out. They might get shifted around a little bit still. But the main production of victory points has already been assigned, given that everybody is going to have trouble attacking and recruiting and such now. Okay, I think it's time to send this one up. All right, we'll send this up.